Gotta be honest, pretty disappointed with this one. Creed 3 stars Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors. It tells the story of Adonis, who has been thriving in both his career and family life, but when a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy resurfaces, the face-off is more than just a fight. And after the first two fantastic Creed movies, which I'm a big fan of, I was looking forward to this movie, hoping it would be another solid follow-up. This time around, we have Michael B. Jordan in the director's chair for the first time ever, his directorial debut. But also the other big key factor going into it was knowing that we weren't going to have Sylvester Stallone returning for this movie. So I was wondering how, and while this isn't necessarily Sylvester Stallone's movies anymore, I was wondering to see how they would do it without Rocky in it. And coming out of the movie, I have to say that I'm fairly disappointed with it, and I'll get more into that in a second. But before we get more into my in-depth thoughts on this movie, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below what are your thoughts or expectations for Creed 3. But let's keep talking about the movie. Right off the bat, within the first 30 to 45 minutes, I immediately could tell that this movie felt like the odd one out of the Creed movies. I think a big reason why it felt like that was because, without getting into spoilers, Michael B. Jordan isn't doing what he's usually doing, I'll just say that. For at least the first half of this movie, he is in a different position in life. For at least the first half of this movie, Adonis is in a different position in his life now. And the movie definitely takes a while to get going. And honestly, I don't know if it ever really got going necessarily. The trailers obviously really set the stage for what this movie was going to be about. The conflict between Jonathan Majors' character and Michael B. Jordan's character. These characters have history with one another, and when Jonathan Majors' character resurfaces, it causes tension for Michael B. Jordan because Jonathan Majors is a little upset with Michael B. Jordan. I thought both Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors were solid. They delivered on all the moments that they needed to deliver on. Coming out of the movie, I didn't really feel all that compelled by their performances. And as a whole, this movie wasn't really all too compelling for me. But this movie is set up on exploring the conflict between these two characters, and I really was hoping that it would be a stronger conflict. By stronger, I mean I wish this movie gave the conflict more fleshing out. It really would have helped, for me at least, if they took more time to these characters when they were younger. This movie is a little under 2 hours, and I think there is a little bit more room for a longer runtime, especially if you're going to add more flashback sequences, or honestly if the movie just started out for the first 30 minutes exploring their past. Because I could sort of feel the tension between these two characters, but it wasn't really explored enough for me to feel invested in it. Because then the fights would have worked for me, and there would have been more tension in the movie throughout nearly the entire runtime. I would have been on the edge of my seat more in rooting for Michael B. Jordan's character or Jonathan Majors' character. But speaking of the fights, I found the fights to be less intense, a bit more tame in some regards. I just want to say that it very well could have been my theater. The audio was a bit toned down a little bit, so it wasn't all too intense for me. That could have been a factor going into it. But like many of you already know, Michael B. Jordan has referenced how this movie was, especially in the fight sequences, influenced by anime and Michael B. Jordan's love for that specific genre. There are a couple glimpses of a specific style towards the fight sequences, but not enough that I found it to be really cool or a bit too much maybe. He definitely walked that tightrope very carefully, not to be overly stylized in the fight sequences, because I think it could have turned some people off. For me, I could have personally wanted just a little bit more to maybe add a little more emphasis to the sequences, especially due to how they were edited. At times, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little hard to keep track of what was going on in the fight, and they went by very quickly. This movie was also missing that hype factor of these boxing, Rocky movies, or even just sports movies in general. The first two Creed movies, especially the second Creed movie, where I was getting hyped up, both in the theater and on a rewatch. Again, that could have been due to my theater's circumstances, but also didn't really find the score to add much to the sequences. And lastly, while it wasn't too much of a big issue for me, you can definitely feel Stallone's absence in the film. He definitely wasn't the reason why this movie didn't work for me all that much, but especially when Michael B. Jordan's character makes the decision to fight Jonathan Majors' character, it really could have helped if there was that backbone relationship that already was established between Stallone and Michael B. Jordan's character over the past two movies. Without recycling it too much and not doing the Michael B. Jordan going, I have to do this, but Stallone going, I don't want you to do this. But just having that other person in Adonis's corner helping him out, especially during the fights, you can't help but feel like there is a missing piece of the overall puzzle, especially in those sequences. As a whole, Creed 3 wasn't terrible. It's a fine movie, but because of how great the previous two movies were, I couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed and wanting more from this one. Jordan's directing career shows future promise. He's a competent director, but this definitely does feel like his first feature. Like I've already mentioned, for a multitude of reasons, I felt that his direction was lackluster. Between the fight sequences that weren't too intense, the character drama that needed a lot more fleshing out, and the elephant in the room being Stallone's absence in the film, Creed 3 didn't really work for me. I'm gonna give Creed 3 a C+. While this movie didn't necessarily work all that much for me, I do hope it worked for you, and if you have seen the movie, once again, let me know your thoughts on the movie down below. I want to thank you so much for watching this review, and again, if you did enjoy it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos. Look forward to my ranking of all of the Rocky/Creed movies coming very soon, as well as more videos and reviews coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.